your comments about putting some sort of money from a huge pot of gold that the NCAA bathes in with this tournament, putting some aside for parents or family members to attend these games on the road because they can't afford it. Do you have members of Houston Cougar families sleeping on floors right now to come watch these kids play over the last weekend or expected to for Thursday?
No, I do not have anybody sleeping on floors, but I've had mothers that have asked me if they can get to the game. Would it be all right if they slept on their son's floor because they can't afford a hotel room? That's reality. I think the NCAA tournament is such a phenomenon in our country, and I'm not talking about the regular season or conference tournaments, but most of the kids will be there for one game and they'll be eliminated. A lot of these schools, we certainly could have been eliminated after one game, but for that one moment, we talk about one shining moment, and we build up this tournament, and they get there, and these parents. All of a sudden, a lot of these kids come from one parent families. A lot of them only have a mother, and this particular mother, she just touched my heart. That really touched my heart when she asked me that question, and I don't remember how it came up in the press conference that we had in Tulsa, but I just wish the NCAA's come a long way. We actually have a stipend that we give each kid called a cost of attendance check. I think it's around anywhere from $300 to $500, depending on the school, and that's great. That's tremendous that the NCAA did that. So if we can do that, I don't know why we couldn't for one time only, just for the NCAA tournament. I'm not talking about any other time of the year, because this is such a cool event, and not just. Guys, the ladies too. When you get to the tournament, be able to fly your mom or dad, brother and sister in for that game, just so they can experience it with you. There's nothing worse than having to be in a moment like that, create some magic for yourself and your team, and have to call your parent and tell them about it. Did you watch it on TV? Mom, did you see me today? When maybe they could have been there if we could have helped them.
Kelvin Sampson, Houston head coach here on the Rich Eisen Show. I guess there's always the unintended consequence too as to who would constitute. I'm trying to work this thing out because you're right. I mean, this is as you point out, heartbreaking, heart wrenching, et cetera. The Pandora's box, if you will, is who would constitute a family member. How do you make sure that the money is actually used towards something and all that? The actual
family members are mother, father, brother, or sister. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Right, and I guess, or if a legal guardian or something like that. So, so what can you? Obviously, I don't want to name any names. What did you tell the mom? I mean, how do you break the news to mom that she may not actually pull out a couch or get a cot or sleep on the floor?
No, I mean, there's obviously rules against extra benefits, and that would come under that rule. So we couldn't do it, and that's the only reason. I didn't mean to open Pandora's box. It was more of an emotional reaction.
Sure. Well, I mean, you're a human being. You're only talking about human emotions right here, and you know what these.
And then obviously your thought process goes to. I think I saw where the television contract for the tournament was $900 million, if I'm not mistaken, close to $1 billion. And I just think about all the money that's going to be made off this tournament, and the primary entity in this whole thing is the players. I said, that's what it's for. This isn't for coaches. It's for the players. They're the one that's playing and creating memories, experiences that will last a lifetime. And the people you want to share those experiences with is your mother, is your father. You want them sitting in the stands being proud of. And some people just don't understand what some people have or don't have. Your definition of poor may be different than somebody else's definition. So you can't generalize or put disadvantaged people in one category and say, well, why can't they do this? You should be able to do this. Well, it just depends. Some people, like you said, unintended consequences. We all have that. But this particular parent has it tough. And this kid survives because of the cost of attendance check. To me, that's the greatest thing ever, is being able to scholarship kids in the month of June for summer school and give them cost of attendance checks 10 months a year. That has been an unbelievable act by the NCAA. But the tournament happens sometimes once a lifetime for these kids. And, you just like to see parents. A lot of parents can afford it, sure, but there's some that can't. And I haven't worked out how to monitor it, how to legislate it. I haven't thought through on that. Somebody a lot smarter than I am can figure that out. But I just something I think that if we can do cost of attendance checks for kids after all those years of doing nothing, surely we can figure this out.
A few more minutes left with Kelvin Sampson, Houston head coach, and the cost of the money that is being brought in by the tournament was something that was thrown out when Coach Tom Izzo was coaching his kid really hard in the minds of some, a little too hard for somebody who's not being paid to be coached in that manner.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.